We prefer to see ourselves as we think we are, not as we really are. And that's because it's easier to create an idea of ourselves in our mind than it is to live up to that idea. And it's very understandable because naturally, as human beings, we're inclined to pursue pleasure and avoid pain and avoid discomfort. And meeting ourselves exactly as we are is extremely uncomfortable, perhaps the most uncomfortable thing anyone would ever have to do in life. Because meeting ourselves is coming to the realization that you're not as genuine as you think you are. You're not as forgiving as you think you are. In fact, when somebody hurts you, you desire to hurt them back more than they hurt you. You're vindictive. But you don't want to see yourself that way. And that's why you create an idea in your mind of who you think you are. And you attach yourself to that idea and you run away from the reality of yourself. You run away from the reality that you're not as empathetic as you think you are. You're not as understanding, you're not as considerate, you're not as honest as you think you are. You run away from that and you attach yourself to this idea that you're honest, that you're kind, that you're nice, that you care about people. And so when you're interacting with other people, they're interacting with the real you, not the imagined you. And when they try to bring to your attention who you are, you see it as an attack. And so you defend it. But you never quite come back to examine who you really are. You still stick to the idea of the idea you've built of who you are. And so over time you start saying, I avoid people because they trigger me. As a psychiatrist, one of the interpretations I'm likely to make is that you're avoiding people because they're trying to tell you who you are and you don't want to hear it. So you're not just avoiding people who trigger you, you're avoiding meeting yourself, interacting with other people. Just one interpretation. There are probably other interpretations that I would make depending on different contexts. So if you're the sort of person who says, I don't want relationships of any kind because relationships carry drama and all that, one thing I hear from that is that I'm avoiding meeting myself because I don't like the person I am when I'm interacting with people. I want to stay in my imagination where I can play out scenarios, I can have interactions in my head, I can fantasize about different interactions, and I want to be satisfied with that. But then when you isolate yourself, you also put yourself at risk of other things that are probably more dangerous than the interactions that you're avoiding, that probably carry more harm and more detriment to your mental health than your interactions with other people.